You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
The options market can be a confusing place. Sorting through the daily avalanche of data, alerts, updates, articles, and analysis to find the most important information is an overwhelming prospect. But now you have help. Welcome to the Options News Rundown, the only program that breaks through the noise to bring you the most important news and information from the world of options. Every day we bring you the top 5 option stories curated by the options experts at theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider. And now it's time to break through the noise. It's time for your Options News Rundown.
Good morning. Today is Thursday, June 14th, 2018. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story today is from investing.com, and it's the top 5 things to know in the market on Thursday. First thing to know is the ECB. It's the ECB day. In what has become one of the most keenly anticipated meetings in a long time, the European Central Bank meeting in Riga, Latvia, is likely to signal that its 2.5 trillion euro easing program will end this year. That's a key move in dismantling crisis-era stimulus. Investors had initially expected the central bank to wait until its July meeting to begin making such decisions, but policymakers recently suggested they will look past Italy's political problems in their debate on when to end bond purchases. Any changes to asset purchases or the central bank's policy guidance should appear in the ECB policy statement at 11:45 Greenwich Mean Time. More details, including latest economic forecasts, would follow at ECB Chief Mario Draghi's press conference 45 minutes later. The euro nudged up around 0.3% to 118.20 against the dollar, while government bond yields in the euro area were also higher. Second thing to know is U.S. stocks are set to open lower amid Fed fallout. U.S. stock index futures pointed to a lower open Thursday morning as investors continue to digest comments from the Federal Reserve, although as I'm looking at this, still pre-market, futures are actually up, so we'll see how it plays out. Third thing to know today is the dollar slides as Fed-driven surge fades. The dollar was under pressure, giving up gains made after the Fed raised interest rates and struck a more hawkish tone by forecasting a slightly faster tightening. As widely expected, the Fed raised its benchmark overnight lending rate a quarter percentage point to a range of 1.75% to 2% on the back of strong U.S. economic growth. Fed policymakers' rate projections pointed to 2 additional hikes by the end of this year compared to 1 previously based on board members' median forecast. The dollar index against a basket of 6 major currencies dipped 0.3% to 93.30 after briefly rising to 94.04 on Wednesday. The fourth thing to note today is U.S.-China trade concerns are back in focus. Fresh concerns about U.S.-China trade relations turn to the forefront. U.S. President Donald Trump will meet with his top trade advisors on Thursday to decide whether to activate threatened tariffs on billions of dollars of Chinese goods, a senior Trump administration official said. Trump is due to unveil revisions to his initial tariff list, targeting $50 billion of Chinese goods on Friday. People familiar with the revisions said that the list will be slightly smaller than the original, with some goods deleted and others added, particularly in the technology sector. The world's 2 largest economies have threatened each other with tens of billions of dollars worth of tariffs in recent months. It's leading to worries that Washington and Beijing may engage in a full-scale trade war that could damage global growth and oil markets. And the fifth thing to know today is the 2018 FIFA World Cup tournament kicks off later today, when host nation Russia takes on Saudi Arabia in a Group A match in Moscow. It has a 6 p.m. start time in Moscow, which means 11 a.m. Eastern time. Oh, that must be the biggest economic news of the day there. Okay, our second story today is from MarketWatch.com. Elon Musk's Boring Co. gets Chicago's nod for a 12-minute pod ride from Loop to O'Hare. Elon Musk's The Boring Company has been tapped by Chicago to design, build, finance, operate, and maintain a 12-minute downtown to O'Hare express train service expected to open in 2020. It's the first fully contracted urban transportation plan for a Musk hobby company that grew out of his frustration at sitting in California traffic. Musk, CEO of Tesla and the founder of rocket company SpaceX, is set to make a formal announcement in Chicago Thursday. A pair of tunnels from Chicago's Central Loop to the busy airport will use autonomous pod-like cars, or as Boring calls them, skates, that would depart as frequently as every 30 seconds. Carry up to 16 passengers and their luggage, traveling at over 100 miles an hour. Fares for what's to be called the Chicago Express Loop are expected at no more than half of what a taxi or rideshare transportation to and from the airports cost today. That works out to less than $25. Wow, that's pretty amazing. The fare to O'Hare on Chicago's CTA rail system costs $2.50, $5 for trains departing O'Hare. Musk's company is financing what insiders told Crain Chicago Business will be the $500 million to $1 billion cost of the project. We'll get a lot of riders for that. City officials have said no taxpayer subsidy is required. Boring beat out one other finalist for the job. Our third story today is from CNBC.com. Comcast's bids $65 billion for 21st Century Fox assets, topping Disney. Comcast announced $65 billion bid for 21st Century Fox, units that are currently in agreement to be acquired by Disney. The bid announced Wednesday represents a 19% premium to Disney's offer. Comcast, the parent of CNBC, offered $35 a share in cash. Our fourth story today is from investing.com. Coinbase opens index fund to U.S. residents. The index fund was first discussed back in March of this year when the intention of providing their user base of over 4.3 million investors with an, in quotes, easy way to get exposure to the crypto assets that we offer on our exchange, end quote. That's from Coinbase COO Asif Hirji. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Coinbase has remained consistent with their previous comments, reaffirming that the index fund will be only available to considerably wealthy investors at this early stage. Ruben Brahmanathan, the project lead on this new release, outlined in the official Medium Post announcement yesterday. He says, "We've seen overwhelming interest from investors since we've announced the fund earlier this year. At this stage, we've opened the fund to those who wish to invest $250,000 to $20 million. And our final story of the day today, we've got a lot of news today here, is from BloombergQuint.com. 50-cent volatility buyer is back with bet VIX will double. 50 Cent is back, or at least a pretty convincing impersonator who spent $5 million on volatility hedges this week. The mysterious buyer or buyers earned the nickname, a play on the rapper Curtis Jackson, known as 50 Cent. after relentlessly purchasing huge lots of call options tied to the VIX at around 50 cents a pop. A nearly identical trade was put on over the past 2 days, likely intended as a hedge, betting that equity price swings will rip higher with the CBOE volatility index sitting at its 2-year average. I'm not sure the author of this article knows what a hedge is, but that's okay. On Tuesday morning, 50,000 call options with a strike price of 28 were purchased at 50 cents and 51 cents apiece. Then at 9:50 a.m. in New York on Wednesday, the same trade was made at 49 cents apiece. The options expire in August, and the VIX is currently below 13. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was a bustling amount of news. Your options news rundown for today, June 14th, 2018. Have a great day. Trade smart.
Thank you for listening to the Options News Rundown. To learn more about these stories or any other developments from the world of options, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.